Hi everyone. The iron supplements have been used in the same way for decades, but last year there was a massive change in the guidance for the dosage in adults. So this video is for anyone that either takes iron supplements as well as all the healthcare professionals out there that prescribe and recommend iron supplements. So I'm Eloise, I'm a UK pharmacist of 20 years and I'm passionate about clear, accurate information that everyone can understand. I want everyone to know their medicines and supplements and be able to do self-care on a budget. So in this video, there will be timestamps so that you can jump straight to the correct section, especially if you are a healthcare professional and don't need the background. But I'm going to go over the background of iron deficiency anemia, what this new guidance is and the dosage, and how this is actually going to reduce the amount of side effects that people are having, the interactions that iron causes, and improve how many people can actually take that iron properly and get the correct dose. So there will also be a section on other useful information for when you are taking iron supplements, and then I will finish off with some data from NHS England about the prescribing costs and items across the patch. Before I start, here are my disclaimers. The information I provide is for educational purposes only. If you do have any issues with your iron supplements, please talk to your own healthcare provider first. This video is my own opinion, although I have done my best to base it on the most up-to-date, relevant information from the Clinical Knowledge Services and from the British Gastroenterology Society. Also, if you can all do the YouTubey things, if you can like this video, if you'd like the YouTube algorithm to share my information more widely, subscribe if you'd like to see more information from me, and comment below if you have any queries about what I've said, or if you'd like me to do future videos on different subjects. Please put them all below in the comments. Thank you. So what is iron and why do we use iron supplements? So iron is an essential element that your body needs to make red blood cells to carry oxygen around the body. And anemia is the term when there isn't enough red blood cells carrying oxygen around the body. And it can result in serious symptoms of tiredness, dizziness, weakness, palpitations. And as your different organs in your body are not getting enough oxygen, it can lead to multiple other problems in the long term. So if you do have anemia, the cause needs to be found. So you do need to make sure that you're talking to a healthcare professional. Is it because somewhere in your body you are losing blood, either externally or internally? And if that is the case, then that needs treating. Is it because of a lack of iron in your diet? So you usually get this from red meat, beans, nuts, or fortified cereals. So it may be that you need to work with a dietitian to try and work out where you can improve your diet to get more iron. It also could be because there's other essential vitamins that are in the process of absorbing iron, such as vitamin B12, folic acid, and even vitamin C. And they are all involved with the pathway of absorbing iron and your body using the iron to make red blood cells. So if the cause of your anemia is either loss of blood or a lack of iron to be able to make red blood cells, then the course of treatment is that of iron supplements and is usually for about 3 to 4 months. And then, depending on whether that solves the problem and whether you've been able to rectify the cause of the iron deficiency, you may then need to continue this long term. So for decades, the treatment has always been either ferrous sulfate or ferrous fumerate tablets in 200 or 300 milligram doses taken 3 times a day. It's always been hoped that by just giving plenty of iron orally into your gut, you'll just be able to absorb enough so that your iron stores can get improved and your red blood cells can be made and sufficient red blood cells can be made. It's always been that. So iron toxicity has rarely been seen with these dosages, and iron toxicity is usually only ever seen in accidental overdose, such as children getting hold of iron supplements that have unfortunately been found by them. And with this being a generic drug that's cheap and available and made by many manufacturers, nobody's really wanted to look into checking whether the dosage is optimum. So even though for years we have all known that patients struggle with the side effects of taking iron, which are usually related to the irritation in the stomach, and also black stools and constipation. And even though we know that a lot of patients end up not being able to take them because they just can't cope with these side effects, nothing really has been done to check what is the optimum dose until recently. So we have historically had more expensive products that have claimed to be tolerated better, but we've always noticed that the reason they got tolerated better is because they don't actually have enough iron in them. They usually have a lower dose in iron. And so we've always wondered, well, what is the best dosage? So here I'm going to move on to the new guidance. Let's get into the main part of what is this new guidance for dosage and where did this guidance come from? So in 2021, the British Society of Gastroenterology looked up all the evidence around all the different types of iron and dosages around iron deficiency anemia and came up with updated guidelines for the management of iron deficiency anemia in adults. I will share the paper with the reference in the link below so that if you do want to go and look in the details of exactly how they came to this conclusion, you can look into it in depth. But basically, that through all the research that they've done, they've realised that the maximum amount of iron that can be absorbed in one day from the average person's intestines is just 65 milligrams of elemental iron, which is the quantity that's either in a ferrous sulfate or ferrous fumerate tablet of 200 milligrams. Because although you may think it's 200 milligrams, only 65 milligrams of that is an actual iron element compared to the sulfate or fumarate, which is the salt that's allowing the iron to be able to be dissolved in the stomach. And they realised that adding any extra iron into the system, taking higher dosages, doesn't actually mean that any more will actually get absorbed through the intestine lining. It just increases the side effects, causing more interactions with other medication and even stopping the absorption of other minerals in the food, such as calcium. So, therefore, the new guidance is to always start the treatment with just one tablet a day of either ferrous sulfate or ferrous fumarate. And then, if that's not tolerated, then reduce to just one tablet on alternate days. And then consider if you need to use an alternative product that might be suitable, or if you really do need to get the iron levels up in the blood and it's not being absorbed at all orally, looking at injections or infusions. So the benefits of this is going to be really good for the majority of patients. It'll lead to a lot more people being able to tolerate the dosage because so far, for so long, people have started on 3 times a day of iron, just been hit by the side effects and really struggled. So there's going to be a lot less side effects of stomach irritation, of the black stools and the constipation. It's actually also going to be easier for people to remember to just take that one tablet a day, put it into their routine. They're going to be able to therefore take their supplements for the required time of 3 to 4 months. They're not going to get frustrated with it. They're not going to just throw it away because they can't cope with the side effects. There's also going to be less need of needing to add a laxative in to combat the constipation that the iron supplement has caused. And then there's also going to be a lot less interactions with other medications. So it's going to be much easier to fit into the daily routine of medications. So instead of somebody needing to find 3 other times during the day, as well as their other medicines that may be 2 or 3 times a day, they'll be able to take the other medicines and just find one spot to put the iron tablet into the regime. So this new guidance was done by the British Society of Gastroenterology. And following on from that, the NICE, which is the National Institute for Care and Health Excellence in the UK, updated their clinical knowledge summaries. I've also included a link to the clinical knowledge summaries below. It's an excellent resource for all healthcare professionals going through the diagnosis and management and treatment of many different conditions. And so they updated their guidance, and we started to spread that guidance out to everybody in hospitals and in general practice. That is what my day job is helping to promote this guidance out to everybody in primary care and in secondary care. So after realising this, the GP's computer system's been set up for decades to just say one tablet 3 times a day whenever you input in ferrous sulfate or ferrous fumerate. So one of the first things we did was get in touch with the people that put together that database, and that has now been changed so that if you input ferrous sulfate, it will automatically come up with 1 tablet once a day. The BNF are aware of this update. They are also run by NICE, and in due course they will be updating their guidance, but they are just holding back while they also do all the calculations to work out the children's dosage as well at the same time. So this message needs to be spread to all prescribers everywhere over this country, especially those that have been doing this dosage for decades. This is going to be a new change. So please share this video with the links below from where this evidence has come from and where this new guidance has come from, so that everyone can make sure that they're recommending this new dosage that is going to save a lot of side effects, a lot of interactions, and going to help people to be able to take their iron supplements in a much better way. I'm now going to move on to some useful information for you to let your patients know, and for you as people that are taking iron supplements to know how to take them. Now for some useful information that you need to know while taking iron supplements. So the first thing is that although this new guidance is going to reduce the side effects will still happen. But the benefit to having enough red blood cells carrying enough oxygen around your body is worth it to get those iron stores back up to where they should. Although you should always continue to check in with your health professional with how you are tolerating the side effects, and for them to be able to be checking your blood levels and looking to ensure that they are improving and that the underlying reason for your anemia is being treated and is being controlled. So it is best to take iron supplements away from any other medication, especially levothyroxine. That is one that it can prevent being absorbed into your body. It's also best to try and keep iron supplements away from big meals, especially meals that are containing high calcium foods such as milk and dairy. This is because iron and calcium can combine in the stomach, and then neither of them are going to get absorbed. So that's the same if you're also taking calcium supplements. Keep them away from the iron supplements. Probably a couple of hours is best for keeping calcium and iron supplements away from each other. So, yep, the instructions do say to keep them away from meals. So probably half an hour before you have a meal, or maybe a couple of hours after meals. Although, saying that, if the iron is irritating your stomach as you're taking them on an empty stomach, taking the iron with a meal is better than not taking it at all. So you can factor that in, and it's better to actually be able to take the iron and slightly less of it get absorbed because you're taking it within a meal rather than just not taking it all. But it is probably best not taking the iron in the same mouthful as a high milk meal. So probably not with cereal with milk, but if you are having another meal that isn't containing milk, then that should be fine. So vitamin C does also help with the absorption of iron. So make sure you're having your daily amount of fruit and veg is a good idea. The vitamin C doesn't have to be at exactly the same time as the iron. As long as it's in your system, the body can do that processing. But if you do want to have a glass of orange or a orange juice or a glass of apple juice at the same time as your iron tablet to get in that good routine, then that is absolutely fine to do as well. For this last section, I'm going to go through some of the prescribing data for England. So this data is from openprescribing.net. It's a real website that is open to the public. So I will leave the link in the description box below and you can go and have a look for yourselves. There is lots of useful information on there on prescribing of all medicines, as well as some of the indicators that GP practices need to move towards to ensure that they're doing the most appropriate clinical practice. So having a look at this data, as you can see from this graph, there is 600,000 items every month for iron supplements. So that is a lot of people all over England that are requiring iron supplements at any one time. And that's not counting those people that are buying the iron supplements themselves. Iron supplements are very cheap, probably only about £1 or £2 per packet, compared to the over £9 for a prescription. So if you do need iron supplements and you do pay for your prescriptions and you don't have a prepayment certificate, it is worth asking your pharmacist whether you can just buy the tablets over the counter. So as well as this 600,000 items, that is at a cost of about £2 million per month to the NHS on iron supplements, which actually is just a small drop in the ocean of the cost of all medicines to the NHS, but is a worthwhile spend on the NHS to ensure people are having their anemia treated. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you found this video useful and that you can make sure that you are taking the iron supplements correctly yourselves, or if you are a healthcare professional, that you now know this new guidance and you're now able to help your patients tolerate the iron supplements much better, and hopefully will get better compliance and actually people's anemia treated better in the future. So if you have got this far, if you can comment below black so that I know that you actually finally made it to the end. But also comment below if you have any comments about this video, any questions, and then also if you've got any ideas for future videos that you would like me to produce. Also, if you can like this video, that would be great for the YouTube algorithm so that this message can get shared wide and across the whole of the whole of England, because this guidance is for England, but the whole world, because this guidance is going to be the same. Everybody's intestines are the same across the whole world. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe so that you are notified of any future videos. I will also leave some links to my previous videos. I have done one that introduces what my job is, and I've done one which is about the prepayment certificate for people that are in England. Thank you.